Hello, I'm your storyteller. I'd love to know where you're watching my videos from. You can tell me in the comments below. When you are ready, lean back and let's dive into this week's horror stories. I wanted to share something that happened a few years ago. I've never really talked about it outside my family, but it still messes with me. It was the 4th of July. I was 17. In my family, we never did big celebrations or anything. No fireworks in the driveway, no loud cookouts. My dad would just grill burgers, we'd sit outside with lemonade and watch the neighbors' fireworks from our porch. It wasn't exciting, but it was kind of nice. Low-key. Predictable. That night was the same as always. We ate, watched the sky light up from a few blocks over, and around 10:30, things started winding down. My little sister got tired and went inside, and not long after, so did my mom. I hung out for a bit longer with my dad, then went up to my room. I cracked my window open and sat on the edge of my bed, scrolling on my phone, listening to the last few distant pops from leftover fireworks. Then, I saw something, just out of the corner of my eye. Movement, outside my window. I looked up. There was someone standing on our roof. At first I thought I was seeing things. It was dark, no moon, no porch lights. But it was a silhouette. A man, definitely. Tall. He was maybe 6 feet from my window, just standing there, facing me. I couldn't see his face, but somehow I knew he was staring right at me. I felt paralyzed. I kept thinking, there's no way. I live in a 1-story house. There's no way someone could just be standing there. But then he tilted his head in a creepy, real slow way. That broke whatever spell I was under. I jumped back, grabbed my phone, and ran to my parents' room. I tried to sound calm, but my voice was shaking. "Dad, someone's on the roof." He was half asleep, but he sat up quick. "Are you sure?" "Yeah, I saw him, right outside my window." That got him moving. He threw on a t-shirt, grabbed the flashlight from the nightstand, and followed me back to my room. I was hoping the guy would be gone. I mean, who wants to actually be right about something like that? The roof was empty. Dad shined the flashlight across the shingles, but there was nothing there. "There is no one there, buddy. You probably just saw your reflection," he said, but I could tell he didn't fully believe it, as I've never said anything like this to him before. "I'm telling you, he was right there," I said. Still, he stepped out onto the roof barefoot, which was kind of badass and stupid at the same time, checked around, even walked the length of it. Nothing. Not a single sound. No footprints. No loose shingles. Nothing disturbed. He checked the backyard too. All quiet and locked up. Eventually, he said, it was probably a squirrel or something, and went back to bed. I didn't argue. But squirrels don't have the silhouette of a man. I locked the window, pulled the blinds shut, and tried to forget about it. I laid in bed for hours, wide awake, flinching at every creak in the walls. It was probably around 2 a.m. when I started drifting off. Then I heard footsteps, right above my room, pacing, slowly across the roof, back and forth, back and forth. I just stared up at the ceiling, barely breathing. Then it stopped. Silence. Until I heard a voice. It was low, raspy. A man's voice right outside my window, just on the other side of the glass. "You saw me." I was filled with adrenaline. I just laid there with my heart pounding, doubting myself if I'd really heard it. I eventually snapped out of it and ran out in the hallway, screaming for my dad again. He didn't ask questions this time. He saw my face and went into full-on dad mode. He checked everything. Under the bed, behind the curtains, even opened the window and stepped back out onto the roof. Nothing. Not even a mark. The next morning, I was still jumpy. I had barely slept. I went outside to check for myself, and that's when I saw something weird. On the outside of my window, drawn into the layer of dust on the glass, was a handprint. Not like a palm pressed flat. This looked smeared, like long fingers, and maybe a nose? Like someone had leaned in real close just to watch. And here's the thing. There's nothing to really stand on the outside of that window. No balcony or ladder. Ever since that night, I don't sleep in that room on the 4th of July. I crash on the couch or stay with friends because I still think about that voice and what it said. This happened to me and two of my friends, Sean and Mikey, on the 4th of July last year. Our town always does the same basic parade, fireworks, overpriced food trucks. Nothing exciting. We're in that weird age where you're too old to care about little kid stuff, but too broke for bars or concerts, so we came up with a dumb plan. We decided to sneak into the old cemetery just outside town and set off some leftover fireworks. I know, disrespectful, stupid, whatever, but we weren't trying to vandalize anything. Just a few sparklers, maybe a Roman candle or two. Mikey brought one of those little cone fountains that crackle and glow. It was harmless fun. We got there around 11:30. The main fireworks show had just ended, so the streets were clearing out. There's a back trail through the woods that leads right to the rear gate of the cemetery. We used it a lot when we were younger, to sneak in, to dare and scare each other, that kind of thing. The night was weirdly quiet. A low fog hung over everything, and the air still smelled like smoke from the town show. It gave the gravestones this reddish glow. It looked like something out of a horror movie. We were laughing, messing around. Mikey even started filming slow-motion shots of the sparklers. Sean lit a Roman candle and pointed it toward the sky. A couple soft pops, some blue and red streaks through the trees. Then Mikey goes, "Back up. I want to get a photo of the next one with the gravestones in the foreground." He crouched down by one of the graves, pointed his phone at us, and Sean lit another candle. This one flared a little brighter, blue, then red, then gold. We didn't notice anything weird at the time, but later, back at Mikey's place, we were scrolling through the photos, and that's when it got disturbing. There was one shot, taken right at the moment the firework burst. The flash lit up the whole cemetery, and in the trees behind us, there were faces, dozens of them. Not bodies, just faces, pale, glowing, watching us. Some looked far away, others were way too close, and they didn't look normal. We all stared at that photo. No one said anything. Sean tried to brush it off, said it was glare or smoke or whatever. But you could zoom in. You could see their eyes. We all felt it, like a switch flipping in your stomach. That feeling you get when you realize something was right there, and you didn't even know it. We decided it was just some creepy fluke, deleted the photo, went home, but none of us slept well. The next day, I couldn't forget about it. Around noon, I went back to the cemetery alone. I walked to the same spot we'd been at the night before. That's when I noticed it. The grass near the grave was scorched. I thought maybe the burn marks were just from the fireworks, until I stepped closer to the grave. That's when I heard a faint but unmistakable laughter. It echoed for a second. Then came the whispering from different directions, overlapping. I couldn't make out the words. I ran out of there, and the moment I was on the other side of the fence, everything went quiet again. I didn't tell the others for a few days. We agreed not to talk about it publicly. We even deleted the rest of the photos just to forget about it. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, as it shows the YouTube algorithm that you enjoy my content. I'll see you next week for another horror story video.